Hello and welcome back to Yorkshire Railway, and welcome to a little discussion video really. So as of filming this is Friday the 7th of June, and you might notice this be a pretty significant date because Accurascale has announced a new locomotive, and that being the Class 60. Now this has been met with a little bit of controversy because there's quite another sort of new manufacturer on the market in the form of Cavalex, who are also in the process of releasing a Class 60. And not only that, they're pretty much coming out roughly a similar time. So Cavalex's is supposed to be delivered in Q4 of 2024, which is a bit strange because that's for those who don't know, that is the financial year. So technically it'd be coming out anywhere between January and March 2025. And Accurascales is set to be released in summer 2025. So realistically, they could come out within months of each other. And this is sort of where the controversy has sort of come from, because Accurascale sort of got everybody hyped up on Thursday, which will be Thursday the 6th of June, and they announced basically they'll be announcing a new locomotive and sort of what they think people are going to guess at. And through sort of a lot of videos that have been hinting, a lot of people thought, through Accurascale's marketing, it seemed to be going in the realms of a different locomotive. Quite a few of those. Main ones that I've seen sort of put out there was an 08 shunter, as well as the Class 43 HST, which, to be honest, I know you know my love of HSTs, and certainly I'm one of those behind. I think Accurascale really should take a crack at that, because realistically there is a bit of an open market towards it, because the only manufacturer that makes a 00 gauge Class 43 is Hornby, and for a train pack they retail at a very hefty price of about 300 quid. So yeah, it would be nice to see Accurascale take that on and show that you can do detail for a reasonable price. But the controversy comes from with the Class 60 is that because we have two manufacturers competing against each other, a lot of people are a bit disappointed with this. And, you know, I can see the reasons why. The Class 60, not only do Hornby do a version, we've got Cavalex doing a version, and now we've got Accurascale doing a version, so it's another duplicate. And it's one of those, I'm a little bit on the fence with it. Certainly when I found out about the announcement, my initial thoughts was, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in that because I've already got a Cavalex one pre-ordered, so I'm probably not going to rush to pre-order an Accurascale one. I'd certainly like one, but budgetary wise, I simply don't have the funds to do both. Not at the moment, but it just is the reality at the moment. New locomotives are incredibly expensive, and certainly when you've got to put all your eggs in one basket, you know, if you've done a pre-order already, because when did Cavalexes get released for pre-order? It was quite a while ago. I feel like it was back in March, might have been early April, but either way, I mean, like, it was a good few months ago now, and I think that's where the disappointment's really coming from, because I certainly do understand that Accurascale will have had this in production for probably about 2 to 3 years, if I certainly had to have a guess, and knowing that they're going to do that, I think they probably should have announced it a lot earlier. And I think that certainly does help in terms of duplications, because smaller manufacturers might necessarily go, well, why are we going to throw all our funds and time into retooling a brand new loco from the ground up when somebody else is doing it? And certainly it's probably the point with Cavalex that they've released theirs, not knowing at all that Accurascale are going to do one, thinking, oh yeah, we're going to take on Hornby, which I think is a good thing really, because certainly for a similar price point, you're going to probably get a really more detailed locomotive by the looks of things. I mean, it's not out yet, but it certainly does look a lot more impressive than Hornby's rendition. And I can see where the anger comes from with this, is that, you know, we've now got 3 on the market, and everyone sort of is thinking, oh, Accurascale's just copying Cavalex just to put them out of the market, which can't be more from the truth. It just simply can't. As I say, they will be in production for about 3 years at most, and you know, by now they will have probably sent back the pre-production samples for essentially the production samples at this point. And by that time, really, so much money's been invested into time to design it, time to manufacture it, that it's going to cost more money just to scrap it. So you may as well release them. But, you know, I think the main problem is that these announcements should come a lot sooner, in that, you know, just say we're working on this. You don't have to say when you're going to release it, but just say this is what we're working on, because I think that would help with duplications. But at the same time, I can understand why they don't, because they don't want the bigger boys like Bachmann and Hornby to just go, oh quick, we need to retool one as soon as possible, put all resources into it and get it out before they do, so we can saturate the market. And it is a little bit disappointing, but at the end of the day, these are businesses. They're not going to be like your friends down the pub saying, oh, what are you doing at work? And you're not going to go, oh yeah, Accurascale, I'm working on class 60. Oh really, Cavalex, we're working on a class 60 as well. Hornby, don't you already have a class 60? Yes, we do. It just doesn't work that way. They're not going to be sharing their ideas or thoughts on what they're going to build. They're just building what they want to build. And Accurascale's certainly going for the class 60 because they've got a lot of rolling stock that matches with a modern locomotive like the class 60. So it's a no-brainer why it makes sense why they're doing it. It's just a little bit, I think, where the anger is coming from most people, in my eyes anyway, is that it's the timing of the release. You know, I think if it was a lot sooner, I don't think this would have happened. But why should it matter? At the end of the day, if you like Accurascale, you're going to buy an Accurascale one. If you like Cavalex, you're going to buy a Cavalex one. I, for one, am basically just going with Cavalex because I was massively impressed with the first loco. I'm trying to think what it is now. I know it's a class 50 something, but I can't remember. So someone drop that in the comments down below if you know what it is. But I missed out on that, and I saw the reviews and I thought that is a massively impressive locomotive, and then I got my class 60 ordered. It's simple as that. And I've seen the production samples of that at Key Model World Live. Looks incredible, so I'm very excited to get it at the start of next year. If I have enough budget, yeah, I will go for an Accurascale as well, because at the end of the day, who wouldn't? More locomotives on the track means everything's going to be better. But yeah, you know, if you missed out on a pre-order for a Cavalex one, you know, you've got a Accurascale coming. And I mean, the spec-wise, they look basically near identical. So I don't think you're going to be disappointed either way. And price-wise, there's not much in it either. I think Accurascale's a little bit cheaper, but you know, we're talking in the realms of 10 to 20 quid cheaper. It's not really much. So certainly in that respect, I don't think it's a bad thing. Because what manufacturers tend to do is they'll essentially order an X amount of locomotives. They'll have a certain amount that will be on pre-order, and then they'll have a certain amount that retailers will have pre-ordered as extra stock. Once that number's in, they know how many they need to order. They'll put the order in. So you might have a run of, say, one sort of paint job of a locomotive. Will have probably, you know, say 1,000 runs, but they might be doing 10 different liveries. So that's, 10,000 locomotives spread out among the country, 10,000 people buy them, and then what they'll do is they'll do a different livery of Class 60. So they'll never do them all, but once they've got the tooling, they've got the tooling to do every single one, but they'll probably not release, say, the first version of that Class 60. Oh, well, we did that in the last time, so we're not going to do it again, or we'll do it again, but in a different livery. So they might do its original livery when it was first factory, but say it gets bought out by a different company, like say DB Cargo. Oh, we can now do a DB Cargo version of it. We're not doing the original one. So it's one of those, eventually you will get your hands on one, but I don't think it's a bad thing that there are 2 on the market, or even 3 really. I mean, the main thing is Class 47s. We've got Hornby, Bachmann, Helgen, I think even Lima you can still pick up. So and there's loads of those on the market, and certainly they're all different levels of detail and expense, but nobody complains about them. So yeah, I just think the main thing is not hyping things up too much if you know that there's duplicates very similar to them at a similar time. I think that's the main thing that Accurascale's got this wrong. They've hyped it up, and I'd probably say overhyped it, and then delivered something such as the Class 60 that is already been done. And I think that is the main trouble with this. It's the reason really I'm on the fence with it. I don't think it's a bad thing, and the best thing is, from what it looks like, is we're getting a lot of different liveries from both manufacturers. So if there's one that you've been after, you probably get it at one or the other. So I don't think that's a bad thing at all. But yeah, I do think it has been overhyped, and I think that's the main thing that Accurascale maybe needs to look at in the future, is if you're going to hype something up so much, just make sure that you're not going to be taking a bomb on this really, with having something like Cavalex has released a statement basically a couple of months earlier, because yeah, it just hits disappointment a little bit. But at the same time, I think a lot of people, I've been looking on a lot of Facebook forums and the reactions on Instagram, and certainly there's a lot of I don't really like the term keyboard warriors, but yeah, there's a lot of negativity, and I don't even think that's needed. And certainly you don't need to be like hounding Accurascale's marketing team, saying that it's an absolute disappointment, why are you copying Cavalex, because it's not how the industry works. As I say, they're not going to be down the pub discussing projects. These projects will be under lock and key and top secrecy until it's unveiled. So yeah, I think the negativity needs to stop, and everybody just needs to have a bit more of a positive outlook on this. We're getting 2 very detailed versions of the Class 60 released at similar times, so if you've missed out on one, grab the other. That's all that needs to be said really on this matter, and I think we can put that to bed. But yeah, that's my little rant really over on this. I'll say rant, it's not really a rant at all, it's just a discussion, but certainly I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. We can get a real discussion on why it's a good thing, why it's a bad thing. Are you excited for Accurascale's Class 60, or are you excited for Cavalex's Class 60? And have you got one ordered? Have you got 2 ordered? Are you ordering from one manufacturer? Are you ordering from both manufacturers? It'd be great to know down below. So yeah, drop them in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this type of video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, give us a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Massively helps me out in terms of getting more recognition on YouTube, as well as helps the community grow. So yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. So take care everyone. See you later.